Welcome back, guys, to King Josiah TV, where this channel is here or created to promote, educate, and inform on the kingdom of Jesus Christ as an ambassador in this world. I am your host, Josiah Hill, guys. And before we get started into today's podcast, please do me a giant favor. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right below. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go ahead and give me that follow button. Let's go ahead and get into this.
Watch giants fall like Goliath. David, I dance, this ain't no tick-tock. God told me that my steps was ordered. Walking in flip-flops, Chris Rock, how they laughed at me.
Y'all guess what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Kanye West. Kanye West, he just did an interview with Sway, and which has a popular radio show that's been out for years, that he's been on there. And he just had an interview with him, and I wasn't going to cover it because I was like, man, every 5 minutes, Kanye West is being a Christian, and in the next 5 minutes, he's doing something weird with his freaking new girlfriend or wife, or he's cursing, or he's calling himself a god. You know what I mean? And it's just like almost like he's trying to profit off of being a Christian. So I was like, man, I didn't want to get that no light. I don't want to get that no attention. But I was like, you know what? I think that I'm going to speak on this. I'm going to shed some light on this situation. So without further ado, man, I'm going to pull this up for you guys. And I found the particular part in there where he was talking. And I got to give credit, guys, because I originally got the interview or when I heard about it initially, was Nick Jones, another popular YouTube podcast that I listened to. Nick Jones put it out, and that's originally where I heard about it. I was like, you know what, we won't cover this. So, 'cause I think there's some things we can point to.
My issues with Jesus. There's a lot of stuff I went through that I prayed and I didn't see Jesus show up. So I had to put my experience in this world, my experience with my children, my experience with other people, my experience with my account, my experience with my brand, and my experience with the level of music that I was dealing with in my own hands. Like a lot of times I just feel like in our society in America, people, Christians, we're depend on Jesus so much that we won't put the word in ourselves. And the main thing that really that I don't rock with is like, it's just always like, I'm gonna pray for you. And it's just like, you can actually physically do something yourself too, more than just pray. And we're so in.
I'm gonna let him finish. But the Bible said faith without works is dead. So again, he's partially saying truth, but I'm gonna let him finish because I'm gonna elaborate on that. I don't necessarily agree with him, but I'm gonna let him keep talking.
This mentality that's all that needs to happen, but we ain't praying our way out of prison. Mm-hmm. We ain't praying our way out of the abortion clinics. We ain't praying our way to get our land back that was always ours after gentrification, after the Harlem Renaissance and Black Wall Street was burned to the ground. Them prayers ain't working. We have to apply actual physical building partnerships, and it don't start unless we could really be real with each other and say, this is what I did, this is what I did. Like, I mean, look at this. I know I'm not gonna third rail your interview, but look at the power of what happened when me and Kyrie was on the same page. See, that's what's scary. But what they do is they put us each in a silo and say, your grandmother gonna lose her crib, and this gonna, you know how many threats we've been dealt with? And I didn't pray my way through them threats either. I had to get up and do it myself. I had so much to do, I ain't had time to pray. Mm-hmm. So that's where what my issue is. And look at where I'm at today.
What did the devil get kicked out of heaven for? Anybody got the answer? The devil was, and I'll give you the answer. The devil was kicked out of heaven because of the love of himself. It was pride. And Kanye West is doing that. He was relying on his own strength. He's relying on his own power and saying, the time that I didn't rely on God was the time that I was successful, was the times that I got the most things. The devil can bless you too, just in case you forgot, Kanye. The devil can bless you too.
Show up.
You know what I'm saying? I understand that that's a controversial.
No, we gotta speak.
But I
on it
dropped
too,
the
though.
con.
No, we got and that's just real life too, bro.
Yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to, when we did get a chance to sit down,
Yeah.
bro, is, you know, I didn't want to do a thing where
Publishing.
You know, guys, I think that that's probably gonna listen to just that portion. I believe he talks a little bit more. And guys, this is the first time I've actually fully listened to that through. I only heard just bits and pieces from other people's channels and things. But again, I felt like it was important to talk on. When you see a man that, I mean, he has, every time it's to benefit him, Jesus, I mean, Kanye West is the biggest Jesus fan. Came with a whole album, Jesus is King. I mean, he was in churches playing his album. You know, he was, you know, so every time that Jesus is beneficial to him, anytime Jesus can be used as a springboard in his life, Kanye uses it. But anytime Jesus he feels it's not beneficial to him, or he feels like God isn't benefiting his life and stretching his life and giving him all these blessings, then he curses God. That's the issue with most people's faith and most people's understanding of God. God said when we brought us into this life, he did not guarantee us a life of leisure. He did not guarantee us all these blessings and all these things. He does not guarantee that. He guarantees us our salvation, and he guarantees us our walk into heaven. And God said, when I came into this world, I brought a sword to separate the mother from the father. He said, pick up your cross and walk after me, which requires pain, which requires us realizing that becoming a Christian and following after God isn't just blessings on blessings and blessings. And all of a sudden you become a Christian and you wins, like, you know, like DJ Khaled said, all we do is win, no matter what. Not to say that you become a Christian and everything's going to fall apart, but sometimes when you decide to follow Christ, everything falls apart. Everything falls. And, you know, that's the thing, is you really have to understand this walk. That's what God says, before you follow after me, count the cost, because this is the narrow road that very few find and very few walk. It's because following after God is not easy. Following in his principles and his designs in life is not easy, but yes, it will make your life better. Yes, it will allow you to prosper. Yes, using his tools can allow you to be able to rise in elements and stages of your life. But when you have a skewed view like Kanye does, is where, oh God, if you don't give me what I want and what I need, I'm not with you. If Job would have acted like that, I mean, imagine where Job would be. Job did nothing wrong. Job was one of his, God said, look at my my servant Job. He's done no wrong. He said, well, God, he hasn't done no wrong. He's never cursed you. He's never done anything bad because you've given him everything. He's all right, go and touch him. Go and touch him. And what did Job do? Job trusted God through that situation, through those trials. And through those trials and everything being pulled from him, he said, no, I'm blessing God even in the bad. Even in the bad, I'm going to trust God. And in the end, God blessed him tenfold. And we're still speaking of him today. So we have to have a right perception of faith. We have to have a right perception of God. And I hope and pray that Kanye West gets on the right path, but I don't believe that he is truly invested in being a child of God at this point. I don't believe that that's his true vantage point. Almost seems like he just picks up Christianity when it benefits him. I hope and pray that he gets it and gets a true understanding of faith. Because I believe he's had plenty of people around him that can show him that. And maybe he hasn't listened. Maybe he hasn't opened his ears open to it, but I hope he does open his ears to it. And someone preaches the correct gospel to him. He's going to continue to be led astray.
My salvation on me like it's a helmet. The way you to sin is death, for send you to hell quick. Wanted to be all about me, God, I was selfish. I was rebellious.